Hello, welcome to English Lessons with inlingua Vancouver. My name is Jacob, and today I would like to talk to you about idioms. Now, I want to preface this by first saying that I don't mean to offend anybody, and I hope you understand that I'm being facetious. I'm just joking around, but I'm hoping that my sense of humor or lack thereof will help the students remember how to deal with idioms, because all the English teachers and students know that idioms are very frustrating for students. So I'm here to try to take the fear out of idioms, take that, kind of make them a little bit more manageable. Idioms are confusing because they are nonsensical. They often don't make sense. The words that are on the page, the words that are uttered, do not literally mean what the speakers often mean. Now keep in mind, idioms or phrasal verbs specifically, phrasal verbs can just be a verb and a preposition. I'm going to take the garbage out, take the garbage from inside to outside. That's just simply a phrasal verb. But sometimes they can have a figurative meaning. They have a figurative meaning, that's when the words don't mean what they say. They're senseless words, right? So a gangster might tell someone, hey, you know what, man? I'm tired of Joey. You got to take him out. Take him out of where? In that context, he means to take him out of the game of life, i.e., to assassinate him or to kill him. So you can see that idioms can have really nonsensical meanings. And that is why we call them idioms, senseless words, private words, almost like a private language. And when I say idioms are for idiots, because idio in Greek means property or personal. An idiot is someone who has his own personal way of thinking, and most of us don't understand. An idiom is a personal kind of language where a speaker is giving his own meaning to the words. And you have to understand that English was a basic language. The contemporary English that we speak today consists of a variety of languages. In fact, Anglo-Saxon constitutes a small fraction of what we call English today. So, what happened? Well, there was numerous wars with France, various invasions from mainland Europe, and whether it's actual battles and physical invasions of England, or whether it's the cultural invasion that we're talking about here, over time, mainland Europe greatly influenced England, and the knowledge and the languages from mainland Europe influenced and affected English. So therefore, English people had to quickly adapt to all these new concepts that they'd never seen before. For a long period of time in high society in England, in court, the language of court for the royalty was French. The commoners, the idiots, the personals, the laymen, the workers, they would always use their basic English. And when they could not understand concepts or they couldn't deal with new Latin-based concepts, they would have to invent new language to make sense of it all. And when you don't know what the hell is invent, so you make it up. You make up the word invent by combining the verb make and the preposition up. Because make up is actually invent in some contexts. And that's another thing. You have to be very flexible with phrasal verbs. Because these people, they want to use them in different situations and give it their own meaning. Remember, idioms are like a private language, a personal language. So these people give it all kinds of meanings to make sense in different sentences. So as we all know, to make up with someone means to end your hostilities, to become friends again, right? To make up with means to reconcile one's differences, right? Or you make it up to someone. Double up the preposition if you need to. I'm going to make it up to you. What does that really mean? I'm going to compensate you. I'm going to give you something for what you lost. Compensation is the Latin concept, and the idiomatic phrase is make it up to someone. And so what are you supposed to do with all of this? Well, idioms are a private language. They're all over the English language, but they're simple. They're simple people's way of dealing with difficult concepts. Therefore, as students, all you need to do is look at the context. Try to figure it out. Try to decipher it. Now, many of you might not know the word decipher. Many native speakers don't use the word decipher. But we all know the idiom, figure it out. So figure them out. Figure out what's going on. Look at the situation and think about why would the person use that verb with that preposition in that situation. Obviously, the basic verb is not what they mean, so that preposition is somehow trying to tell you something. And here's where it gets interesting. Many of you keep memorizing these phrasal verbs with just the verb and the preposition. But as you all know, make up, make it up to someone, make up with someone. Think about the verb take, take out, take in. I know there's a lot of information for you to take in, digest, consume. You see what I mean? All these words have different meanings in different situations. Different prepositions give them different meanings. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to look at the verb, look at the nouns, the adjectives, the other words in the sentence, and see what the preposition is doing. Because after all, that preposition is trying to capture the relationship between that verb and the noun. So when you say, figure something out, something is the puzzle you want to solve. So you're going to take that figure out of the puzzle. You're going to figure it out. So the preposition is going to help you understand what's happening if you think about it a little bit more carefully. And there are some patterns there. Of course, up means complete. Into means detail, usually. So when I say clean the room, it means to clean the room. When I say clean it up, clean it completely. Your friend says drink up, drink it all the way. I need to look at something. I'm just looking at it. I need to look into it. Look into, investigate. Look inside more detail. Look at more details. Look inside it more deeply. You see what I mean? So you need to look at the verb, look at the preposition, and try to figure out, decipher what's happening with the verb and the preposition in that context. And then idioms won't be so intimidating anymore, and you can deal with them much better. Do not try to memorize them, because if you do, you will get very confused very fast. So the best thing to do with idioms is to understand them in the context and try to understand them naturally and make sense of them. And those of you coming from Latin languages, French speakers, German speakers, Italians, all you need to do, let's not forget Spanish speakers, all you guys need to do is just turn it into the Latin word. And you might be thinking, but I want to use idioms. Yes, it's true. If you use idiomatic expressions, that means you know about that private language and it makes you sound more native. But keep in mind, in formal context, in presentations, professors talking to the other professors, people doing presentations, in academic situations, in business meetings, often we preface idiomatic expressions when we are caught in a speech and we are at a loss for words with expressions like, for lack of a better word, we need to fix up the situation. Pardon the expression if you may, we don't have what it takes. You see what I mean? So even when native speakers are conducting formal discourse, they try to avoid, stay away from phrasal verbs. If you could pardon the expression, if you may. Well, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'll be happy to respond. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and I look forward to our next chat. Have a great day.